Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy, and this is my latest video. This is video 18 in my series of Medieval America, where I travel all around America seeking out medieval sites and other things. And in this episode we go to Ohio. And we have a lot of fun in Ohio. We'd visit a museum, a blacksmith, an inn, a couple of food places, and a couple of castles. So let's do the intro and let's launch into medieval Ohio. Okay, so Ohio is interesting in that you don't really hear much about it. It's a very quiet and unpresupposing state. So I didn't know what to expect when spending 4 or 5 days there, maybe a week. I forget how long I spent there, but I did notice a couple of things. There was a lot of beautiful flat green land in Ohio. Look at that. I saw a lot of this on my drive. I think I did about I must have did 500-600 miles in Ohio, because I started at one end and I went all the way to the other end from like Cleveland to Cincinnati. And I made some stops in the middle too, but a lot of flat land, some corn, a lot of green, really nice country, really nice state. I liked it, but I did not expect. More than once I hit some serious rainstorms, like real downpours. At one point I had to pull off the highway, because the rain was so bad. So I don't know if that was just a coincidence or if Ohio gets that regularly, but I was really surprised by that. Which is nothing wrong with that. It's just, made me nervous driving in it. The first stop I make in Ohio, and I was really excited about this, is we visited a blacksmith called Vincent Craver. And he's a master blacksmith. He's been at his craft for many years. And he was very welcoming to me. I'm very appreciative to him for that. And he actually does a tutorial for us. He makes something called a pineapple twist. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that in this video. But I'm going to peel this out into a full tutorial for you. If you follow my blacksmithing stuff and you love the blacksmithing stuff, you're going to really love this tutorial on how to make something called a pineapple twist. So that's going to be a whole separate thing, a whole separate video. But and it's really quite interesting and not that difficult to do. You just have to know the process. So I'll show you a little bit of that here, and we'll get a look at the pineapple twist in a moment. I'm going to show you a picture of it so you can see what it is. So I had a really wonderful day. I spent the day with Vincent. I was very accommodating. If you're interested in what he does, he travels to a lot of Renaissance fairs. And check out his website at dragonsheadforge.com. Really nice stuff if you want to buy some stuff. He does a lot of really beautiful things, including flowers. So really nice. There's the pineapple twist. So like I was saying, he was very welcoming, and at the end of the day, he was exhausted because he did a lot of blacksmithing. I wasn't too exhausted from blacksmithing. I didn't do any, but I had done a lot of traveling. So we just sat out by the pond on his property there and just chatted about life and about blacksmithing. It was a wonderful day for me, one of the best days I've had so far. Just really nice. You spend a full day of blacksmithing and then relax and chat by the water. Just fun. That was a great day in Ohio. And seems to me Ohio people are very welcoming. So that's it. Visit his website. Another thing I did while I was in Ohio, because I had been seeing lately, the past couple of weeks, these places called the Waffle House. And they don't have any, I don't think there are any Waffle Houses in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, or New England where I live. I've never seen one before. But I was like, what the heck is a Waffle House? Some kind of restaurant. I'm curious, is all they sell is waffles? So I had to stop in and have something to eat. It's kind of like a breakfast place. It was good. I enjoyed the food. A lot of nice food. So let's move on to another day. I went to the Cleveland Museum of Art in Cleveland, Ohio. And one of the big things is their Western medieval art. They might be specialists in Western medieval art, and I was really excited to see this. And I was not disappointed. If you love medieval things, and you can, go to the Cleveland Museum of Art. They have a lot of beautiful stuff. And I'm going to show you something in particular. Here, some basket-hilted broadswords. You don't see those a lot, but here's something. They've got a beautiful collection of pole arms. And do you recognize that one in the middle? That is one you do not see very often. You know, pole arms, they come in a lot of different types. That one is, if you don't know it, is called a brandy stock. I was really shocked to see that one. So they also have some beautiful manuscripts, illuminated manuscripts, parchments, and documents from the medieval period. So I love the Cleveland Museum of Art. My day there was really, really special. And another fun thing I did while I was in Ohio was I actually stopped at a Knight's Inn. Now, I've been seeing them all over the place, and they're all over the country. And I hadn't ever stayed in one before, and there's nothing special about them. You don't hang your armor up when you go in or anything like that. But I just thought it'd be fun to stay at a Knight's Inn. It was a coincidence because on that day I had been traveling a long, long, long day, and my options for where to stay were kind of reducing. I wanted to get to a place before it got dark. So next we go on to a place in Willoughby Hills, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland, called Squires Castle. And it's nice, it's in a park, it's well maintained, it's very small, and that's because it's actually just a gatehouse. They call it Squires Castle. And at first I thought, hey, maybe that's because it's small and that's where the Squires stayed. But no, the gentleman who built it was called Fergus Squire. And he made his money as an executive at Standard Oil. So a fun little castle. Things fell apart on him. He never could actually build the castle. But he did build the gatehouse. And I ran into somebody called Spencer Hill. There he is right there, there's Spencer. And he was using his drone to take videos of the castle. So I asked him, I said, hey, listen, can you email me? Let's keep in touch. And I'd love to get that footage. So here we go. He said, sure. So he sent me footage from his drone. So there's me shooting video of his drone, and then we'll pop to the actual video from the drone at that moment in time, which is kind of cool. So, special thanks to Spencer Hill for letting me use this footage in my video. That's Squires Castle. So I enjoyed it so much that I'm going to pop in a little bit more video footage here. I should get a drone. This is really special. I have been noticing a lot of places where they have big signs that say no drones. So that's a thing too. But here, that is pretty cool though. So I've been having a lot of fun in Ohio, and I've expanded this out a little bit to just show you a little bit more. In my travels around America, and I'm going to do all 48 states, and I'm going to end the whole thing at the Grand Canyon in Arizona. But I thought, rather than just show you the castles that I stop at, or specific like that, I'll show you a little bit more about what I'm doing, and maybe I'll do a day in the life, what it's like to travel on the road like this, going from motel to motel, from state to state, and driving. And one place I had never been to was a White Castle, because where I am in New England, I don't think there are any White Castles. I've never seen one, but I spotted one here, and I decided, I'm going to stop in. And it's good. I like it. The crinkle cut fries are different. You don't usually see those in a chain restaurant. And the thing that kills me the most is the little tiny mini burgers. And I guess they're famous for that. Little tiny mini cheeseburgers like that, see? And they're delicious. But you got to eat a lot of them. You go into a restaurant or a hamburger place, you can have one hamburger, you're good. But not at White Castle. You can't have one. So we're going to finish this off at a place called Loveland Castle. And this footage you're watching here is accelerated because it's a long road, and I just wanted you to see sometimes what I go through to try to get to some of these castles, and you'd be surprised at some of the drives and some of the navigation I've had to do. Just kind of crazy to get to some of these places, particularly if they're abandoned. But Loveland Castle in Loveland, Ohio, way on the west end of the state, is a museum now. It's not abandoned. But it takes a little bit of a drive to get there. And it's also called Chateau La Roche. It was built by a gentleman called Harry Andrews, and he started it in the 1920s after he returned from World War I. And because he saw castles over there, and he fell in love with them, and he also was knighted while he was over there for an act of valor. So he came to America and he started building a castle in the 20s, and he worked on it pretty much himself, but he had a local Boy Scout troop help him with hauling stones and hauling rocks and doing some work. But for the most part, he worked on the castle all on his own for 60 years. really quite amazing. You know, he devoted his whole life to building this castle. That's Harry Andrews is his name. So from the 1920s until he died in 1981, he just kept working on that castle. 60 years. It's just really quite stunning. Nice little castle. It's in good shape. It's very, I think he was very Knight and Templar oriented. That was a big thing for him. But there's some pictures, and let's take a look at a little bit of video of some of the inside and some of the outside. Chateau La Roche. And one of the things I did like about this is very fortress style, which is good because, you know, nowadays a lot of castles are very palatial, like palaces, but this one's very fortress. And I believe it was pretty much modeled after a 10th century Norman keep. It looks like a Norman keep from about that time period. But so that's it. That's medieval Ohio. I haven't put out a video in a month. I'm sorry about that, but I've been traveling very hard, very heavy, continuing my journey all around America. And I wanted to say a couple of things. Thanks for your patience, waiting for the next video. I have thousands of pictures and videos. I visited so many sites all around America. I got a lot of good stuff for you if you love medieval things. If you ever thought about traveling and you ever thought about taking a big adventure, follow along with me because that's what I'm doing. I'm on a big adventure all around America. I'm just in my car and I'm driving from city to city, to state, coast to coast, seeing all kinds of stuff, and I'm taking my time about it. I could use your help. It'd be wonderful if you could support me by sharing this on Facebook, sharing my videos, looking through my stuff, telling your friends and family about what I'm doing. You know, share with people you think might be interested in anything medieval. You can also support me. I have patrons that support me, so you can check out my Patreon page. You can just do a PayPal donation if you want, or if you'd rather be less magnanimous, you can buy one of my books. I just recently put out a telescope book that has a whole series of 5-star reviews on Amazon, or you can buy one of my novels. I got another novel coming out. I've got a couple more books planned. I'm living a bit of a different life here, a little bit unusual, and you know, you can support me in that and follow along in the fun and the adventure. And here's an example here. This video is from something called the Avenue of the Giants in the Redwood Forest in California, and that will be coming up too. So thank you very much. Stick with me. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell so you can be notified when I post a video. Thank you.